Recording. Intro. Hello, audience. It's time for Mediation Talk. Mediation Talk is edutainment meant to teach you in a fun and exciting way about the effects of mediation in lieu of litigation and avoiding those expensive legal fees. Mediation Talk offers an amicable and economical approach to all conflict issues. Now, let's take the emotion out of the commotion with your hosts, Michael and Diann.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Mediation Talk. And Michael, it's so good to have you here, as always. And we try to take the emotion out of the commotion with mediation and not litigation or arbitration. And we're going to talk all about that because we have lots of cases to talk about today. We've got our Braves. We've got a lot.
We've got any number of issues
stuff.
today.
A lot of stuff.
I mean, I guarantee we're not even going to get to all of it, and we'll save it again for next time, like we usually do.
Because I'll usually keep interrupting and go on to another subject, right? But we're good subject surfers. You know, that's a good thing. People that subject surf, but we
cover a lot of bases.
Yeah, and we rally back. Because you're good at rallying back. We rally back.
I do like to circle back and stay on point.
Well,
I feel like
pretty much do.
one of my goals is to keep us focused. Whether it's a law thing and it's been ingrained in me, or driving the show, if you will.
Right.
But I feel like I've always got to circle
back.
back.
Well, doing radio for as long as I have been doing it, I think one of the greatest compliments that I've had was people can go off and off, especially some of your guests that you have on. Tangents, and then, but you say, okay, all right, let's get back to what we were talking about. And you get back because you always know that you're there for a reason, and that's to get to that bottom line of what they're really here for. So it's good to circle back. So it's good we're both circlers, anyhow. Michael, how was your Easter?
My Easter was good. I actually had lunch, not on the golf course here per se, but once again, for the viewers at home, if you can't tell, we are back at Diann's patio at the Adobe Biltmore Golf Course. Where is this, Adobe or Links?
No, that's the Links.
This is the Links course. I played the Adobe course the other day. But yeah, we're back here. Today is April 7th. 2021.
Yeah.
And so anyway, yes, our Easter was good. Sarah and her parents, we ate at the Biltmore Golf Club thing over there.
The Adobe
Biltmore. Mm-hmm. And I think we might be doing a show there at some point in the near future.
Well, good, because you have the contact for that.
Yes,
Jerry Colangelo's group.
I'm going to make some phone calls to JDM management.
Well, you call your people. I'll have our people call their people.
I will be my own people, and I'll call their people.
Oh, that'll be good.
We'll see. But yeah, so instead of doing one here, we might be on the other side of the golf course.
We'll be there next week. But you know what's nice? I could walk over there, right there. I walk right over. And I could walk right to the back and walk right in.
You could. But
I do.
You're not going to bring your equipment with you, so I'll have to either pick you up and drive you.
I'm not dragging the equipment over. But I will tell you what happened, though, to our little dog, little Bess.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Can you see the lake back there?
Well, I know
that lake?
The viewers should know the lake's there.
The lake is there, everybody. If you're golfing.
The sign might be in the way.
Does everybody see the sign? We want to take it down. All right. Anyhow.
Yeah. The other thing we could do, and I was going to mention how we've been improving the show episode by episode, and I didn't mention it last time, but and I will try to put a little YouTube or some thing here where my finger is, but I'm going to see if we can put the business card right here with some editing. And so, yeah.
I don't know how to do any of that stuff. Take it down, and we
could finish that off.
Yeah, that's good.
But
and you can see it back there.
Here's the water area. Don't hit the ball here.
No, they sometimes
or bathe your dog in the water.
Right, because what's in that water? Catfish. It's loaded and stocked with catfish. So our little dog, Bets, who absolutely loves Michael, she got out of the front gate yesterday while I was doing some work out there and took off and ran on the golf course. So I heard her barking, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, she's barking and chasing the geese. And there's a huge crane looking at them and laughing its head off, I swear, just standing there watching this.
Crane, a bird.
Crane, a big crane. And they're extinct, by the way. They're like, it's nice when you get to see one.
Well, if you saw one, then they wouldn't be extinct.
Well, so far, there's only one left. I have it, my neighborhood, right here. So anyhow, don't correct me on that kind of formality, semantical bullshit, Michael. Anyhow, Bets ran after the geese, not the one crane that's extinct, and the ducks scared them off. The geese, I thought, were going to chase her, and she jumped in the lake. So of course, there's golfers coming by. Said, we better go get the dog. And she just was paddling out, and it thought, oh my word, and got off at the bank. You could see the bank. Mm-hmm. I went out and I thought, my golf clubs are right here. I thought maybe I should take my huge, ball retriever. I mean, I don't have a dog retriever. So I went and got a big towel and went out my gate and got her. She came up, and what does she do? Shakes all over me. So I smell like catfish.
Right here on the patio?
Yeah, right here. No, she's
back out there.
I went out that way, but anyhow, she got in and a little bit. I said, okay, you're going right into the shower. So she jumped in the shower. So that was, what did I do wrong? I let her out. I should have been more mindful of the gate but she does, everybody knows her, but she does come back. But I don't think she's going back in that water again.
No complaints from Adobe Biltmore Golf Course Management?
No, little Miss Karen that lives next door, I'm sure she reported it. Meanwhile, her dog's out there all the time.
Well, hopefully, if we do a show at the golf club, we don't have any incidents or feedback based on animal awareness.
No, we won't. But anyhow, it was really pretty funny, but I had to tell you that. It was fun. But then anyway, we want to show you, point it out. That's where
So yes,
it was.
Bets went swimming in the water here. Do we want to put our sign back up, or?
Well, you could do something creative.
Doesn't matter.
No, you had it really kind of neat the other day. It was kind of nice how you're doing all this.
Fancy as I was saying,
stuff,
as I was saying a moment ago, as we are becoming more tech savvy here on Mediation Talk,
he is.
I'm
not.
I'm learning. I'm learning as I do each edit of these videos. Last time you may have noticed I had our names on the screen, and then I had the name of the guest.
I like the bouncing.
Our
names were bouncing.
There's about 15 to 20 different font styles. I haven't quite figured out how to use them all yet, because based on the length that you want the text to be there will also determine how long it takes for it to fly in.
I loved it.
And so
I thought, oh my gosh, it's all
I'm working on it.
I thought it was great. And also, I thought he would be so excited because he told me that I lost one of the hookups on here. And I said, no, I don't think so. I looked and looked and looked and looked. And I found it, so our
guest microphone doesn't have to lay on the table anymore.
So
we can actually hook it up.
Because guess what? It was sitting on the shelf.
I knew it was here.
And I knew you knew it was here, but I was determined I was going to go find it. So I thought, instead of me calling him and say, guess what? You were right, Michael. I just made a video of it and videoed it and sent it to him. And I'm here. She found me. Guess what? I'm here.
No, it wasn't a TikTok. It was a personal message. But no, I thought it was funny.
I didn't do a TikTok on that one. I have enough to deal with a TikTok this week. We'll talk about that. It was on my embarrassing moments. We're going to have that.
We'll have a new segment to the show.
Segment. How embarrassed were you this week?
So
were you embarrassed?
In addition to the business card, which hopefully I can get to pop up on the screen, I'll put it in the comments down below. It'll be on our page. It is also in our email signature here on. If you go to our email or email us, MediationTalkMD@gmail.com, we now have a very colorful business card with microphone, headsets, play button, and all.
It's beautiful, and we worked, and he did a great job. As a matter of fact, I thought, looks like he's going to be sticking around with me for a while. That made me feel really good. He's ordering. We got a sign made. We got business cards. We have a signature. My gosh.
We also have an Instagram account,
YouTube account.
So
what else?
I was gonna work on a Twitter. So I'll do that here in the coming days for anyone that wants to tweet at us, or we can tweet at people.
Johnny Depp.
I thought he was TikTok, not Twitter.
No, I don't know if he does Twitter. All those people.
If we want to have a show TikTok, I will fully put you in charge of that endeavor.
Oh, I have almost 3,000 followers.
And I will not be a participant on the TikTok.
No, really. Why? I mean, why? I have, right now, I want you to know, and I think that we can have all of our TikTok people following us because I'm close to them. but I now have 3,352 followers.
That's about 1,000 more than last time you showed me.
Yeah.
I remember it was about 2,400 before.
Yeah, I'm getting really, really, really creative with it.
Could we get all those TikTok people to follow and subscribe to the show?
Absolutely, because
that would mean we jump from 4 or 5 subscribers, 30
Yeah.
viewers to
Yeah, I think
3,350.
I know, and all these people that are telling me they're watching me on YouTube, where are you? And why haven't you subscribed? Because you're all bullshitting us. Come on. That's not
We know.
nice.
I can I can see the subscriber list. So if you told me you
Yeah.
subscribed and you didn't, I know you're lying.
Yeah, and if you told me you saw the show, I watched your show, Di, it was really great. You and Michael were really perfect together. Well, why didn't you subscribe? Okay, we know who you are. If you want to be on our show,
Well, I will say there is some bit of a problem with the subscribing aspect.
why do they have to pay for it?
No. If you don't have a YouTube account where like a login type thing to see the 18 and over videos, I don't believe you can subscribe. You can still view, but I don't believe you can subscribe and then have an account, because then it can't manage your subscriptions for you if you don't have an account. And I know this because my mother is not a subscriber because she doesn't have a YouTube account.
Well,
So
why don't you help her get one?
yeah, we'll have to make one called The Big A Arizona or something like that.
Don't call her the Big A.
That's her name.
Big A.
Big A. That's what her license plate says.
Oh,
So
like
anyway,
Diann Noe.
We'll have
Okay.
to make Big A
I
a
didn't know it
YouTube
was
account,
Big A.
and
I
then
have
she
to
can
tease
become
her
a
about that.
subscriber. But she does view the videos,
I talked to her
and
through
so
the show.
yeah,
Hi,
she is
Big
one
A.
of our 32 viewers or so. We've got about 32 views on each of our videos so
And I
far.
don't know who's doing mine. My daughter doesn't watch it. We're going to get her to do
Well,
it.
and it will increase with time. I've talked to
You
a couple
know.
other YouTuber hosts as well. And basically,
Oh,
the
great.
way you build your channel, and for those of you who are actually watching us now, you may see this with your own eyes over time, but it's just a function of producing more and more content. And I think we're pretty excellent at that, because we planned for an hour show, and we've gone over our time 4 for 4 so far.
So many times.
And I expect today we'll at about an hour 5 we'll probably realize, oh, we're past our time. And but that's a good thing to happen, because if we're running short on content, that would be an issue.
But we don't.
But when we're running long, because I've got my sheet here, and this is probably more than one
I don't
show's
mind.
worth. And yeah, I know. And
I
I've
know.
got 5 other pages.
Yeah, I know.
And so
I'm
this
so
is
prepared,
the
Diane.
lawyer. This is the lawyer in me.
I'm
I'm
so
overly prepared. The last thing I want is 5 seconds of dead air.
Well, you know what? I live for this. I know what dead air is. It's never going to happen.
I don't think
Okay,
so.
we never have dead air. I've had people come on and want to be dead air, and I have to talk about something so stupid that I have to bring up the topic. Okay, so there's nothing like dead air in my vocabulary. That's a nightmare, is being on a radio and having dead air. You know that.
I would agree with you.
We'll never have dead air, and we're not interrupting one another. We're not anyhow. So, do we have an asshole this week? You don't have one.
We developed one when we were doing our pre-show discussion about
Yeah.
the shirt I'm wearing today. So if you want, I can kind of get into that topic, and then we can then
Okay.
delve into the asshole
and
portion of it.
I have an asshole too, but I have a hero as well.
I've got a hero also, and I like everyone knows my hero, actually. And if you haven't heard of my hero, I kind of want to know where you've been your entire life.
Yeah,
but we'll
I
get
said
into
something
that.
to you today, and I don't know where you've been. You didn't even know who Barbara Streisand was.
I know who she is.
Well, you just didn't know anything about her.
I don't really know any of her works or any of that
Nothing.
nature. I know from what my mom tells me.
Well, your mother has to.
I mean,
Big A's got to be.
Okay,
Barbara
I mean, I
Streisand.
can go into. I know she's in the movie Yentl.
Do you know the Beatles?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Uncle Brad and my dad
Well,
gave me a bunch of
Yentl-
lectures on the Beatles.
Yeah, Yentl. I mean, yeah, that's.
It's a movie she was in.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
know, she
I think I actually had to
played
watch
the
that
guy.
in school
Your
growing
mother
up.
made you watch
No,
it.
it wasn't. I think it was in high school at Brophy. I think we had to take a religions class
There's
or something.
no man yet I wonder. That's one of their best songs in there. The Way You Make Me Feel.
Okay.
That's in Yentl.
I know Barbara Streisand is a fixture on the TV show South Park, and they
Okay.
make fun of her. And
Yeah,
she's
they
not on
do.
it. It's just she's a character
Well,
that
on
they've.
my TikTok, if anybody is out there on my TikTok, I make fun of her. I mimic her, and I make fun of her.
But I thought you like her.
I love her, but I make fun of her because I sing and I mimic her, and I do things that I shouldn't be doing, but I haven't been sued or been yelled at yet. So you got to watch it. You got to see it. To
I'm just
believe it.
thinking how that's kind of a controversial thing that you're doing in her likeness and image, and
Well,
yet this is a
because-
mediation show,
Yeah, well, when you
causing some conflict rather
yeah,
than.
but I'm causing a little
Resolution is my job.
I'm causing a little comedy along with it, because Barbara Streisand has a very high-pitched voice.
Does she?
Yes, very high-pitched. She's very good. She's like Celine
She's in the
Dion.
Meet the Fockers movies.
Is she? Yeah,
She's
she
Ben
is.
Stiller's
Yeah,
mom. Okay, yeah,
right.
I know her from those movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are good movies.
She's great. She's great. There isn't anyone like Babs. I love her to death.
Isn't she a sex therapist in those movies?
Yes. Yes, she is. Yes. Do you need a sex therapist this week?
No, I think we're good.
Oh, you're good, yeah. Well, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even know what that is anymore. Okay, get into our
All right,
last-
well, I was going to go back to. So last week, for the 32 people that watched the show at Seasons 52,
that all lied to us, the other ones that said they did. Okay.
yeah, for those of you who remember, I wore a Cleveland Indians baseball jersey, and that was kind of.
The Dodgers on today.
Today I've got the Atlanta Braves
Braves.
actually. This is Greg Maddux. Greg, great pitcher,
I
future
met him.
Hall of Famer. Yep,
met him.
one of my favorite players growing up. But anyway, last week
Oh, remind me to tell you a story about the Braves pitcher.
I was going to have you recap your Pirates story from way back when too at some
No,
point.
I got to talk about the Braves pitcher.
Okay, well we could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But so last week, Indians jersey, controversial name. They're changing their name potentially. It's under review, kind of like the Redskins stuff. Interesting that, and I think I even mentioned the Braves last week about how there are a handful of other teams that have other suspect names. Kansas City Chiefs, North Dakota Fighting Sioux, the Atlanta Braves, Chicago Blackhawks. All those are Native American type references, kind of like the Redskins. They were the first to go. The Indians might be second. Who knows? Will be third, fourth, fifth, what have you. So that's kind of the theme with the Braves jersey, but the name is not what we're talking about here. What we're actually talking about now is the city of Atlanta, the state of Georgia, and what has recently happened within the last 48 hours, I believe, with regards to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game this year. And so, Diann, you are aware of the new law that the state of Georgia passed with regards to voting,
Right?
correct?
Right.
And so for those of you who are not familiar with it, if maybe you're not in Georgia, maybe you're not in Arizona, you don't listen to us, or maybe you just don't care. But recently, the Georgia legislature put in place a voting ID law that, and I don't know the specifics, I haven't memorized the law myself, but essentially, in order to vote or register to vote in an upcoming election, you have to show proof of ID, a la a driver's license. And I don't know about you, but I don't think obtaining a driver's license is that difficult. I mean, I've got one. I have to use it to get on an airplane and do any number of things where
Well,
you
now
need
you
to have
have
ID.
to have a special license to get on an airplane. You
Well,
know?
yeah, and I actually did
Right.
want to kind of talk about that. We have a travel ID here in the state of Arizona. And when that got enacted, I want to say about a year ago, I don't remember everyone around here jumping up in a hissy fit going, why do I got to get a travel ID to get on an airplane, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So no one did that here when we had to restrict people from getting on an airplane, but yet all hell is breaking loose in the state of Georgia right now because they've passed this voter law that basically says in order to vote, you've got to prove who you are. And in order to
Exactly.
do that, show us your ID. Well, and this is also just a mystery to me. You have to be 18 to vote. You have to be 16 to drive a car.
Right.
Most people drive themselves to the polling place or get there somehow. They're of age, and you have to have ID in order to have a job and work. And so I don't understand why it's so difficult for all these people to produce the ID. It's something that they should already have.
Period.
And then if they don't have it, it is very, very easy to obtain one.
Exactly.
So I am perplexed as why there is such a big outroar in the state of Georgia about this thing, and they're like Coca-Cola has threatened to move their operations
Well,
out of the
I
state
heard
because of this.
They were going to move out.
And so it's just a mystery
Taco
to
Bell,
me.
I think a lot of people were going to move out of there because of it. So let's talk about the other part. Who is the general manager of the Braves?
Well, the general manager of the Braves is a guy named John Sherholtz or something, but that's
Yeah.
that's not who we're
Okay,
going to
we're
get
gonna talk
into.
about
And
him.
I was
Alright.
just about to get back into that.
Okay, all right.
Major League Baseball, after all this uproar based on the new voter ID law, has decided, and there was another sport that did this with their All-Star game. I think it was Charlotte a couple years ago with the NBA All-Star game, and they moved the game because of, I think they had some sort of trans bathroom laws. But anyway, it's sports, kind of butting their way into politics and individuals' lives. But Major League Baseball's commissioner, Rob Manfred, who might be one of the assholes of the week based on this decision, and there's some future things that might come up that kind of will also see how thick or thin his skin might be. But Rob, after hearing all the complaints about the voter ID law, has decided to move the Major League Baseball All-Star Game from Atlanta, from SunTrust Park, home of the Atlanta Braves, to Denver, Colorado, Coors Field, home of the Rockies. And so that's what he has ultimately decided to do. Now, here's something that's interesting, and I'd like to get your opinion on it. Colorado, the state of Colorado, already has the exact same voter ID law in place that was just passed in Georgia. And yet I'm not hearing a speck of outcry from anyone about that. And here's another thing, and this is kind of...
Is that a blue state? Yeah, I mean, we have to look.
I think they're both blue states.
Political.
Well, Georgia's teetering right now.
Well, it just got blue a little bit.
So it's purple like here, I guess.
Yeah.
And so that's the first conundrum that is
conundrum. I like that word.
Enigma, or whatever you want to call it. But they moved the game from one state to another that already had the law in place. It was the reason why they moved it from the first state. So that's one puzzling aspect of this.
That is kind of wacky.
And the thought process behind was Major League Baseball was upset by this rule because it puts an unduly burden on the African American community to have to obtain the driver's license and then go forward with the voting and prove that they are blah, blah, blah. And so they were upset that this law was harming the African American community, and so therefore that was the reason they decided to up and move the game as a protest against the state's action. The game's in Atlanta, a predominantly black community, and there were still are a number of small businesses in and around Atlanta that were planning for special events based on the All-Star game because the stadium was probably going to be at minimal capacity, but
economic value.
Players, fans, they were going to be coming into Atlanta for the game, and they're going to be bringing lots of money with them. They're going to be buying memorabilia, going to restaurants, staying at hotels, renting cars, et cetera, et cetera. And so a lot of these small businesses, predominantly black-owned, being in a mostly black community, are now going to be crushed by this lack of an All-Star game, and they have no recourse. There's no way for them to make up these monies that they have now lost solely because of Mr. Manfred's decision to move the game, because he's upset on behalf of Major League Baseball, on behalf of the African American community, that the state of Georgia has decided to implement a law that's already in place in other places.
So where does he get off being such a politically astute person when he should just be running a baseball company?
Well, and that's what a lot of common complaints are, and that's, we're a mediation show. This is a controversial topic.
Right, it is.
And so I don't know why he believes he has the authority to do this, because based on his decision impacting a baseball game, it is now having a major economic impact negatively against those people in Georgia.
On the community.
So it's kind of like two-timing the state of Georgia, if you will, because now they're stuck with this horrible law that everyone's got to deal with. Oh, and by the way, baseball's not coming here anymore, so deal with it.
So what does the law have anything to do with baseball? Okay?
Nothing.
And that would have been a tremendous opportunity for that community to build up their economic, base again, and get everybody to have this awareness and to support the Black Lives Matter again. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Well, and just with COVID, so many small businesses have been destroyed and don't even exist anymore because of all the closures, and there is a lot of argument that, COVID is political, the closures and mandates and what have you are all political, and so, everyone's small businesses, they're just getting crushed right now, and so this was a way to try to build back better, if you will. And so Major League Baseball decided to quash those dreams, at least of those in Atlanta.
Why don't they quash him from being a member of isn't he a member of the country club down there that does the Masters?
And so that's another point that I wanted to bring up.
They should get him out of there.
And so for our next show, I have a Masters jacket that I may or may not wear.
Is it
depending.
green?
It is green. It's got the
Where'd
patch
you
on
get
it. I made it.
You actually made a Masters jacket?
I had a friend of mine put it together.
Wear those.
I have a friend that runs an embroidery shop who also might be a future guest.
Okay.
But he put it together for me. But yes, so
you're only allowed to wear that if you are a Masters recipient.
Well, the actual rule, the rule of Augusta National Country Club is the current champion is the only person allowed to wear the jacket off the ground. So currently Dustin Johnson is the only person that's allowed to do so.
Well, I think it was Phil that wore his to bed.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, if I won the Masters, I would wear that thing every day.
I
would never take it off for those 365 days.
I mean, how many jackets did Tiger get?
I think he's got 4.
And Mickelson has how many?
I think he's got 2 or 3.
Artie Palmer?
I think he's got 3.
The most is
Tiger. Pretty sure Tiger is the most. And he's still playing.
Tiger. He's still playing in what?
Well, he's not.
Is he going to come on in crutches?
Tiger's not playing this week, but I think he will be playing again. And, I mean, he did win 2 years ago after such a long time between.
He was looking forward to this, too. Yeah. He was really, really looking forward to it.
No, I'm a Tiger fan.
So am I.
So we wish Tiger well.
We sure do.
But anyway,
okay, let's get back
circling
to
back to Mr. Manfred.
Yeah.
Rob, if you are so appalled by the Georgia State Legislature and what they've done, are you going to now, in turn, renounce your rights to your membership at Augusta National Golf Club? I mean, if the state of Georgia is just so evil that you can no longer host an exhibition all-star baseball game there, are you now going to refuse to play golf at the esteemed Augusta National Country Club? And see, that's what's a big mystery to me, because Augusta National is probably the most prestigious club in this country and possibly the world.
It is.
It's an invite only. I'm guessing if you withdraw, you're not getting a chance to come back.
Well, maybe they should kick him out.
Well, and that's kind of the thought. If I'm, and I believe Hootie Johnson, I think, is the guy who is the manager of Augusta, the chairman, or what have you, and he's usually the guy wearing the green jacket during the ceremonies, and he's on TV during the tournament, giving interviews and whatnot. But if I'm the membership managers over there, I would strongly look to give Rob a taste of his own medicine, and basically, tell him, Rob, we appreciate, you being a former member here at Augusta, but since you want to announce our state and, based on our baseball team, our all-star game, because of something the legislature did that is completely independent of the league and of the game of itself, then we don't think we want your opinions here at our golf club.
And you know what, too, Michael? We're a mediation show, and we're supposed to be neutral. Do you find yourself being neutral in this position?
I find myself hardly ever being neutral.
Well, no, you have to be neutral.
No. If I was a mediator in a matter, sure.
But
on a show like this,
how do you feel about this? Because I think sometimes, how do we know what was going through his head? I mean, what was going on that he would do that, and what kind of pressures were we having? Maybe that's that. As we teach in mediation, we have an iceberg here. What's going on under there? What don't we know about?
Well, and that is a mediation principle that you taught me, and I actually think it's a concept that most everyone can understand. And maybe if I can get creative, I can put another graphic up here somewhere during the show.
And show the iceberg.
But and typically an iceberg, you can only see about 10% of what's above water, and the rest of it is below. And so I'm sure that,
under there.
Outside, as we look at this situation with baseball, the All-Star Game, the state of Georgia, we can see those issues. But what we don't know is, I'm sure there's a lot more behind the scenes that we don't know about. I'm sure that a number of companies were barking in Rob's ear behind the scenes saying, you need to do something about this baseball All-Star Game thing, or guess what? Blank company is no longer going to be a sponsor of Major League Baseball,
like Coca-Cola.
And so, but this is just it shows to show how politics, at least right now in this country, is playing a role in most every decision that's being made.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it would be kind of like to be a nice fly in a wall to find out really what was going on under that iceberg effect of what was happening. That's a very good point. So you're going to wear your green jacket the next time?
I can bring it, and I think it's 92 degrees out, and so I can actually. I'm not uncomfortable. I've got my undershirt on with my jersey, and I'm not too warm.
Well, I think that you're visible.
Well, and I like to have fun with props, as someone else taught me.
I like the visual.
So
the visual is
and
wonderful.
we have a
props?
visual show.
Yeah, we do. What props are you talking about?
I was talking about during training with the toolbox.
Oh, my toolbox.
And so that's a
Yeah.
visual learning technique, and all those tools,
is.
you'd pull out your duct tape or your hammer or whatever it was that you were using in the purpose.
Right.
And so we have a visual show, and so this is a visual representation of a
It is.
conflict. And this actually has dual meaning because it's both the name and then it represents the Atlanta issue that we've discussed.
Well, okay, so that brings up another matter that we were talking about, our most embarrassing moments. So I will talk about that after we name our other asshole.
Okay,
Wait a minute. Are you nominating?
So my selection this week, after discussion with you and this on air,
Okay.
I think Mr. Rob Manfred, Commissioner of Major League Baseball, with his unilateral decision to move the game based upon something independent of baseball in and of itself, quantifies him to be one of our assholes of the week. So, Rob, enjoy the title.
Okay, and you're going to hear the song. Something just popped up on the camera there.
You know, I'm getting some sort of ad for whatever that is on my laptop. But
was that him calling us?
Well, I hope not, but no. You can see the camera is still rolling down there,
Yeah,
so
okay,
I can get up
that's right.
and click X if you want, but I don't think it's going to hinder
I just
us.
thought maybe he was calling us.
No.
All right, but if you're
No.
listening in, you can let us know what happened. Maybe we'd like to hear your explanation of why you made this pathetic decision.
Yeah. Otherwise, Rob, enjoy this for you. All right.
Great. Now,
Who's number 2 this week?
okay, this is a personal issue for me,
Okay.
and I think it affects a lot of people. I think it affects just not someone like myself, but our seniors and people that really do not understand the subject matter well or have not researched it enough. I have been really researching great and better auto insurance rates. I keep getting all kinds of information on my emails, and all I have to do is put in a quote. I need a quote, and 50 people, 1,000 people are calling you. Spam, spam, spam.
Mm-hmm.
I currently have USAA right now.
Okay. That's
Right.
who I use as well. It's who Sarah
Yeah,
works
well,
for.
they're my assholes of the week. Sorry,
Oh,
Sarah.
whoa. Okay, then.
Whoa. Yes.
Shocker.
Oh, yeah. I've had him forever. Bill's military. They still call him Sergeant Wilson when he used to call.
I'm going to start calling him Sergeant Wilson when I
Yeah.
walk in the house.
That's what they call him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry, he loves it when he calls USA. Whenever he was lucid and handled things, when they said they call me Sergeant Wilson. He was a tank commander in Korea War, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your service, Bill. So anyhow, I called USAA, and I told them that I thought that my premiums were too high after I did all this research, and they said, well, the reason they're high, Mrs. Sergeant Wilson, is because of your fault accidents. I have no fault accidents. Ever. I have a perfect driver's record. Well, I did have a speeding ticket a long time ago, but I went and I took a course on that, okay? But I've never had at fault, accident that would bring my premium up so high.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, how do you get to that information? And I'm sure a lot of people that are looking for better auto insurance, that are not driving their car during COVID. I had a bunch of cars, got rid of them. Bill doesn't drive. He had to surrender his license plate because of his, Alzheimer's problem. But, there are a lot of people that really need to know that you need to search and find out exactly what your insurance company knows about your driving record whenever you get increased,
Premiums and stuff, yeah.
premiums. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, there's a reason why those things go up, and usually
Well,
it's some
I wanted-
negative thing that you've done on the road.
I don't know why, because I really didn't. However, 3 years ago, someone during spring training, I was going to a spring training game over with the Giants, and I'm going through an intersection, and a bunch of guys drinking ran right into my little BMW and demolished it. I ended up in a hospital with airbag, whatever you want to call it. Like if I was
Whiplash.
going to die. No, I didn't have any of that. But anyhow, the car was demolished in USAA. I mean, that was the loss. There was no loss in their part. The police report stated I was not at fault, and the other driver was, and they went after their insurance company. Actually, it was a rental company that they were driving the car. So my thought was, well, USAA, after I told them I'm going to cancel my policy with them after all of the years I've had it, you need to correct your information because it's going against my premium and it's increased my premium. And they said that they couldn't do that, that I had to go through this next something, file a report and a claim, and they're holding me hostage. in premium prison, I call it, for not I want to cancel it. So I got another insurance company. They looked into it, and they actually found that it was not at fault. And they gave me a better deal than USAA could ever, even if I didn't have it. But they did their homework, this agent, and he went out of his way. So he's not only my hero, but USAA was my asshole because they never did the background work.
So you got a 2-for-1.
Yeah, I got a 2-for-1. I got a good agent, a better policy. And everybody needs to know if you're not driving your car a lot during this COVID.
During COVID right now.
You get a benefit for that. And if you have a good driving record, you get a good benefit for that. But nobody tells you that. You have to call your agency and say, hey, are you applying my benefit? Because they're not doing it intentionally.
I got a refund check for not driving as much during COVID, and my insurance company is USAA. And they did that of their own volition. And
because they didn't have any lies on your record.
They could technically be my hero of the week after that.
No, we can't have hero. We can't do that.
Just one on both sides of the spectrum here.
Then we're gonna have a dispute, and we could.
But that's good. That's what the point of the show is.
But you're not neutral.
So
remember.
Well,
you're not neutral.
And you actually mentioned two things that I wrote down during your story. But the first thing you had mentioned about calling the car insurance companies and how it's a common problem for everyone with this type of issue.
Yeah.
That's the point of our show. In the pre-recorded intro, that's me. It was new this time because I actually used a real microphone as opposed to my cell phone for recording it, so it's much clearer. But this is edutainment.
Wait a minute. You recorded a show with your cell phone?
I recorded that intro from the last show, the 30 seconds.
Oh, then you took it home and changed it.
I recorded that with my cell phone, put it on the
Okay.
computer, put the music behind it, and that's what this time, when I borrowed these this weekend, I used this to record, and that's why it is much clearer and much better.
Oh, okay. I understand.
But anyway,
very good.
we're an entertainment show, and our goal is, you may or may not have the exact same problem that we're talking about here at home, but if you have a mirroring problem and you can take any aspect of how we've resolved that conflict and apply it to your issue at home, then we're doing our job here.
Right.
And so I understand that not everyone's going to have this issue with the car value because of accidents, may or may not be on their record, but someone might have a similar issue where they've got some problem with their insurance company. And so if they can take any part of what you said and apply it to them and better their situation,
Exactly.
then we're doing our job here
Then we're doing it.
and we're benefiting our audience.
And
so
somebody may have heard what I said and say, you know what, I'm having the same issue.
Exactly.
And check your records. Get another quote. Find out. Get a good agent. Somebody's going to do the job for you. And then you don't have to call USA and say, hey, guys, you really should have done a better job and corrected the information that you have.
Well, and there are specialists out
Right.
there everywhere in this day and age.
Oh,
so
and
if you're not
yeah.
informed, find someone else that is and have them help you.
Right. And so I think you got to spend that time to resolve your own issue by getting answers and by making those calls. Even though they're a pain in the butt to do, you got to keep making the calls, keep taking copious notes, and make sure that you get the right agent that's going to represent you and that you get a better deal, especially during this time. Because we look at our premiums thinking, oh my gosh, his premium went up. Why? And we have every right to question anything. We have every right to question it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't do it, get somebody else to do it.
Well, and every question should have an answer, too.
Exactly. And not like, well, gee, that's just the way we
Oh, I don't know.
are.
It's just
I don't
it's
know.
company policy.
That's not, I don't know. Let me give you to somebody else. Let me give you to somebody else.
I gotta talk to my manager.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to my supervisor. I'll be right back. And I said, okay, fine, I'll wait. And you're on the phone, really, literally, I clocked it 3 hours and 10 minutes getting it straightened out the other day. So, I'm sorry, Michael. Bill loves USAA. Sarah works for USAA.
Sergeant Wilson?
Sergeant Wilson. Yes.
Is his correct identifier?
Yes, he still has his checking account there. I mean, he won't leave them because they're military. But anyhow, they're my asshole.
Okay.
And I'm sorry. I just think that they
I'll let you
could
do
have
the
done a
honors.
better job.
Right here is this one.
Hit it, Di. Are we timed?
Yeah,
Okay, we're timed.
I want to see if we can avoid.
We're not going to get any more copyright infringements
Yes.
this week, right?
So I wanted to expand upon what you just said, because in my law practice, within the last week or two, and you said something in your story that I have something similar that I can relate to. I had a client or a friend of mine call me with an issue, and I will not name names, but their issue was, and it wasn't with USAA per se or their insurer, but they're trying to sell their vehicle right now. And they own, I don't remember the exact model year, I want to say it was some car within the last 3 or 4 years. And the car, it's an SUV, and if you go on Blue Book right now, it should be worth around $50,000, the vehicle in question.
What is it? A Lamborghini?
No. I want to say it was like
For a used car?
like some sort of used SUV, like a Yukon or one of those Chevys, I think.
Not an Escalade. Okay.
Maybe it was, and
Right.
and just for
Doesn't matter. Just for
yeah,
the
it's just
purpose.
the car. If it was all tipsy top and turvy, whatever you want to have it, would be worth around $50,000 in today's marketplace. However, the Carfax for this particular vehicle was showing 1 or 2 accidents. I spoke with this person, and they have adamantly told me they've never been in an accident, at least that would have caused the frame damage that they had mentioned. The accident that I was told they were in, accident, there was some damage to the vehicle, some scratches in it because they got a car wash, and the plastic things that whip around.
Yeah.
And I've heard this before. They can, depending on the type of car, how tall your car is, and how fast the things are moving, and what's on your car, it can scratch the panels and cause some damage. And so this person had some damage to their car from a car wash. And they reported that to their insurance, as they should have, to get it taken care of. But the insurance adjuster, and I don't know what company it was, it may have been USA, it may have been someone else.
Probably USA.
Maybe. But they had declared this damage as an accident. And there are various degrees on the insurance scale of how you can qualify an accident, but this was on the scale, and they were quantifying it as an automobile accident that was causing some sort of structural damage, what have you. But the essence of this whole story is it was devaluing the car by about $10,000 to $12,000, solely because of this error from the insurance adjuster, which was then reflecting on the Carfax.
Okay.
And so I think it mirrors your situation, that someone out there said you got in the car accident, it was causing all this damage, and you weren't even attributed. You said you didn't do it. It was someone else, or it wasn't you, what have you. So this is the same thing here. This person wasn't in a car accident. Their car was damaged, but it was, it was a car wash. It was, or maybe it was someone that walked up and keyed the car. It wasn't another vehicle striking it.
Excuse me, was this Carfax a report that was there with the car before this person bought the car?
No.
Oh,
so
okay.
from my understanding,
I see.
the damage per se that we're talking about occurred during their ownership.
Oh, okay.
And so the adjuster is claiming that this damage that occurred during their ownership is worse than it is, and thus that's why the car is being devalued. And so anyway, this person is trying to fight the adjuster to get the Carfax corrected, so then they can sell their car for an appropriate value. Because as of right now, and if you're going to spend that amount of money on a used car, you're going to look up the history and make sure nothing's wrong with it.
Absolutely.
So if you're looking up this car, you're going to see, it's in 1 or 2 accidents. It's not worth, the normal price. It's going to be devalued. But that's not the case here. It's solely based on the error of this adjuster or what have you, which is then in turn going into the Carfax and then, lowering this. So I thought that was a parallel to your USA story.
Because somebody didn't follow up and make the corrections.
It was some third party outside between you and your insurance company, but it was some third party adjuster that
wrote this up, and it's on the records, and
they're slacking off.
Yeah.
And
that's sad.
it's such a common problem that we have in today's world that And in the pre-show, we were talking about preventative mediation, and we'll get there with some of the other topics we had planned for. But this kind of goes along those same lines. You've got someone out there that is half-assing their work, and therefore, because of that effort, and I say effort because it's not really a full effort. It's a half-assed effort.
Half-assed effort.
But because of that work product, it is causing a problem later down the line that has to be corrected. And so it's just a real world issue. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a mediation issue in and of itself, but it might then in turn cause, whether it's this scenario or something else, the chain of command or what have you, someone's going to do something that's going to cause a problem down the line. Let's just correct that so we don't have to worry about those issues moving forward.
Exactly. So how did you resolve that?
I haven't.
Oh, okay. So do they expect you to go in there and straighten us out?
Well, and without revealing any privileged information, but I advised this person to contact the adjuster and basically say, your faulty report or whatever it is they did that come out there, it needs to be corrected because your report is causing me a damage of $12,000-$15,000, whatever the devaluation
the same
is.
Way here of, okay, USAA, why don't you straighten this out? This is wrong information. You have the police report here. You go from the police report, this was not at fault. You know, and they didn't have anything to pay out. They didn't have to pay anything out. It was the other insurance company that paid for the car. So why they had me at fault. And they, of course, passed the buck. But no, I agree with you. No, we're rehashing that again. But it is parallels to that whole thing.
Yeah, it's basically...
Somebody screwed up and didn't update the report, causing me an issue and putting it on my record. And now I have to go and check everything to make sure it's taken off there.
Yeah, but...
It's like having a bad credit report.
To answer your question, I advise them to demand they fix the issue or threaten to sue them for the difference.
I'll threaten to sue them.
Now, maybe
we'll
they won't sue. Maybe they'll get this other party into a mediation, and they'll both find a solution they can live with.
Exactly.
So maybe we're helping out in that regard.
Maybe we have to tell them we don't want to sue. We don't even say go sue them. They'll come back to you and say, well, we're going to mediate it.
So that's where I have a little difficulty because it depends if I want to put my lawyer hat on or my mediation hat, because both that advice is correct in one view or another depending on your personal goals, aspirations.
Well, I've been in situations too where somebody says, I just can't get anywhere. I can't get anywhere. I'm just going to go and sue these people. And I said, well, you know, I can understand it, but let me talk to them first or have them agree to do mediation before you make that threat. You know, let's talk first before you threaten to sue them, and maybe you can come to some resolve. But some people are dead thinking the law is going to take care of everything, and that's what we try to tell them. No, it isn't. We can help you resolve it without having the law involved in it.
Well, and part of the reason, and for those who I've represented or hope to represent, maybe you can take this for what it's worth, but when I send demand letters out, or just like in this situation, when I've advised this person to send a letter to them demanding they fix this, I'm not basically encouraging them to go find a lawsuit if they don't get their way. But at least in my view, a demand letter is a negotiating tool because it is basically just a written affirmation of what your desired outcome of the matter is, and it's clear and it's in writing. And so if the other person wants to avoid the conflict
resolution is my job,
then they can adhere to those instructions within the demand, and then poof, everything goes away. The other response is you put some sort of counteroffer back, and that in and of itself is a mediation process. And so
that's a tactic.
And that's what I'm getting at. And for those of you out there that know me or hope to know me, I'm not going to file a lawsuit on your behalf. I will get someone else to do it for you if we ever get to that point.
Howard Dorman will do it, or his dad.
Or my dad, or someone else that likes to go to court. Someone that likes that brain damage, I'm sure. But my point is,
did you hear that, Mr. Irish?
I might be threatening litigation, but I'm not actually following through with it. I'm using litigation as a threat to encourage a mediation tool.
I agree. By the way, does your father listen to the show?
Probably not.
Oh, why?
My mom does.
Oh,
not a subscriber, but she listens.
She needs to do a subscription.
I'm sure.
This is a subscription.
I'm sure Big A would tell him, your son said this about you on his show, and my dad would probably go, what show?
Oh,
he has a
I'll
show?
have to go. His office
that's
is right
nice.
over the hill there. I'm going over there to see him.
So
I'm going to take our equipment in there and say, "Hi, we're here to do a show here today."
we could probably do a show there.
Let's
I mean,
go
they've
do a
got
show.
they've
We
got a
gotta
golf
get
course
'em on-
background.
Oh, we've got to go there. We got to go over there.
Well, one of our upcoming guests actually, he said he definitely wanted to be on. I'm not going to divulge his name or his business yet, but he is a hotel owner operator. My father and I have both represented him, and when I spoke with him today about coming on the show, he was very excited because I have actually been to a mediation with this client.
That's fabulous.
I don't want to give too much detail before we actually have him on and talk about it. The mediation was not successful.
Oh, don't like hearing
However, we resolved the matter based upon what we discussed in mediation. And so I do think it was successful in a sense. We had to use the mediation session as kind of a push against the other side to come to their senses, and then we ultimately made a deal.
Well, that is
And so
mediation.
we'll talk about that in the upcoming show when our guest comes in. We'll be on location at their hotel when we do that as well.
Our old town.
And so
that'll be fun.
And so we will
that.
we'll get that going, and we'll put if we can get a promo out or something like that. Speaking of promos, and this was not part of our topic, but we also have an inquiry letter that we put out, or that we put together and that we will be sending around. So for those of you out there watching that would like to have a show at your location, or if you have an issue that you want to talk about, give us a message down below in the comments. Shoot us an email. Once again, MediationTalkMD@gmail.com. Let us know about your issue, and we'll be glad to talk about it with you. If you want to talk about it on air, great, because once again, the whole point of this show is we don't have all the answers, but we have some. And so if you can watch us and understand a solution to a problem that you have at home, and you can apply it to your daily life and make yourself and the situation for those around you better, more power to you. And that's why you're here joining us.
And that's what we want. That's what we want you to do. We want you to think, okay, the little things that we're talking about that happen to us, or the cases that we have, may affect you. Think, oh gosh, I can identify with that. How many times have you heard someone say, I can identify with that, man? I really understand.
Well, and I was listening to your USAA story, and I had a client that identified with it, and it just led right into that next. So everyone's got something they can relate to.
There's conflict everywhere. I don't care what you say. So do you have a hero this week?
I do have a hero.
Okay, who's your hero?
So my hero this week is a very well-known individual. If you don't know this individual, I would be a bit surprised based on, I would imagine he's got 60 or 70 years in film and television. Not Barbara Streisand. Probably someone more well-known than her.
Memories.
But Dick Van Dyke. If you ever watched the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Sure.
And I'm not even sure when that show was made. Because it was...
Mary Poppins?
He's the chimney sweep guy, isn't he? He's also in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah.
He's in a no. Was he in Bewitched? Was he the husband?
I
think he was.
I don't know, but he was.
I'm just going back from right now when I was a kid watching Nick at Night.
Yes.
Because I always remember Rob Petrie was his name on the Dick Van Dyke Show. When he tripped over the ottoman on the intro of the credits, I always thought that was hilarious because it's like, Rob, you know the ottoman's right there. Just avoid it this time. Nope, just rock right into it.
He did. He walked in.
But anyway,
he's fabulous. He's fabulous.
Dick Van Dyke's a great guy. I mean, he's been.
How old is he? 90.
He's 95.
Wow.
And he lives in Malibu, and he's been known throughout his life as being a philanthropist and helping out people in need. And he was at it again yesterday, I believe, was when this occurred. Yesterday, Mr. Van Dyke, despite living in Malibu, being a very affluent area, not everyone in Malibu is affluent. I mean, they have McDonald's there. They have workers there that are on minimum wage and whatnot.
They work in some of the hotels.
There's people of all walks of life in every place you go. And so, despite what those that may think about the Malibu area, there is a labor exchange there for people that are having a hard time finding work. And so Mr. Van Dyke yesterday took it upon himself, and there's a picture of him on the internet holding a very large bag, and it turns out it was just filled with cash. And he was walking around Malibu and the labor union and other places handing out money to those families and individuals in need because they're having a hard time finding work during the COVID pandemic. And so I thought that was astounding.
Yeah, it is.
Something that he didn't have to do, and I'm sure he's got more money than he knows what to do with at this time with all the royalties he's been receiving for years and years and years. But I thought that was very commendable of him to just walk up and down the road and
hero.
pass
Good
out
for
cash.
him. Actually, I have a funny story. When Ann was little, I took her to New York City, and we went into Sardi's. And
Is that the restaurant?
Sardi's.
So
yes, Sardi's is a very famous restaurant.
they have the caricatures on the wall?
Yeah, they used to be black and white.
Okay.
And so we went into Sardi's, and Ann looked at all the characters on the wall, and she said, the owner at the time, Mr. Sardi, we knew him very well. I've known him for years, came up and said, "Oh, honey, where would you like to sit?" She says, "I like to sit under Dick Van Dyke's picture." And he found Dick Van Dyke, and ever since, we always sit under Dick Van Dyke's picture. So that's
kind of funny.
I thought
coincidental.
It was a great story that you brought that in and led into that. That's super. So he's your hero.
He's my hero this week.
I love it. It's a great hero.
Who was your hero this week?
Well, my hero is nobody that famous, but maybe she will be now.
This is the start.
Yeah, this is the start.
This moment right now.
This moment right now. She works at Danny's Auto Wash. And I pulled my car in there last week to get it washed, but I was going to do it on my own.
From all the accidents you've been in?
Oh, yeah, from all the at-fault accidents I've had on my
You're just driving around
record.
sideswiping people.
I'm just sideswiping
Oh,
everyone.
pedestrian, get
Right.
out of my way.
Right.
That's my road.
But when I pulled in to go into the, self-brush thing rather than them cutting you out and everything, I just wanted to get in and get it clean quickly. I pulled into the wrong lane, and they're all chasing me around. And I got out of the car, and I had to walk up the ramp and go in and pay it. But the car was parked wrong, and I'm thinking, oh, what am I doing wrong? I'm usually not this crazy. And I went in and walked all the way around, and the guy said, no, you got to pay here, How much? Like $7 for the car wash? So I said, well, he says, then take it up in there. I says, well, don't you have to put it through like a little, payment, how you do with the car wash? No, you have to pay it here. It was a little different than getting it done whenever they get you out of the car and you have to go sit in the waiting room. So I was parked so far away. I ran up that ramp. I went in. I was out of breath. And the girl said, he ran in to give me the slip, $7, and it ended up, I said, do the works, $15. So the next thing you know, she says, where's your car parked? I says, it's way down there. She said, the door's locked. I'll open up the door for you. And then she said, here. She gave me a bottle of water, and she said, the car wash is on me. And she didn't have to do that. And I said, oh, really? Are you kidding? Oh, no. The car wash is on me. You're here all the time. The car wash is on me. And she opened up the door and made sure I went out, and there's my car there rather than going all the way around. Anyhow, it's a long story, but I think it's wonderful to have people out there that are so thoughtful and so generous.
And someone that didn't realize giving away one free car wash wasn't going to bankrupt the company.
And it made me feel like $1 million.
Well, and you're a returning customer. It's something that you're going to be happy about, and it's going to make you, even though you were planning on coming back, you're going to go back, but it also, we're talking about it here on air.
Right.
And not that it was an intended plug for Danny's Family Car Wash over at 20th Street in Highland.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm assuming that's the one you went to.
I'm there all the time. But the thing that was nice about it was that she was so kind, and people should learn the lesson. You hear about people getting in line and somebody at McDonald's is saying, buy that lunch for the person behind me or whatever.
Yeah, paying it forward, yes.
Yeah.
That's a very common Starbucks thing to do.
And I think that that's kind of very nice. And I think that people need to be a little bit more kinder and a little bit more generous, a little bit more thoughtful. And I thought that was just wonderful, even though I could have paid for my own. So anyhow, she's my hero.
Okay. Good deal. All right, well, would you like to play our clip?
Where is it?
That one.
Oh, is this the one we got in trouble for?
Yes, we'll explain that in a second.
That.
And they say that a hero can save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait.
All right. Thank you.
Stop that right
Thank
away.
you, Dick Van Dyke and Danny's Family Car Wash
Yes,
personnel.
the cashier.
All right, so I want to explain that real quickly. I made mention earlier in the show that we have been improving the technological capabilities here on YouTube. That being said, we still get warnings. This is only show 5 now, and so we're learning. But with our sound effect boards, we once again got a copyright infringement. And so as much as I like Nickelback and the Chad Kroeger Hero Clip song, we will apologize to our viewers that are not able to watch this video, therefore they can't even hear this apology that I'm giving. But I just think
You mean
it's...
the non-subscribers like Big A?
Yeah, but I think it's funny that the restrictions based on the infringement, the countries that are not able to view this video. So for our viewers in the following 4 areas are not able to watch our show because we play that clip. So we apologize to the Mediation Talk fans in North Korea, Syria, Cuba, and Iran. So for those 4 countries that are not able to view our show because we just played Chad Kroeger's Hero Clip, we sincerely apologize for that, but we are going to continue as we are moving forward.
Now, do you think anybody could actually hear our show in those countries?
Well, I think hearing the show, I mean, if they've got internet connection, sure. And I would say those 4 countries are pretty volatile right now in the world economic climate. They could probably benefit from Mediation Talk.
Well, how do we resolve this matter?
Stop playing our hero clip.
Why don't we go and get a regular letter from them giving us permission?
From Mr. Kroeger
Right.
and Nickelback?
Yeah, get the Nickelback people. I'm sure they could do.
If they want to send me a signed album or something for display in my room, I'll take that as well, as a big fan of the band.
Show.
I don't think YouTube would care about that, to be honest. I think that they have an algorithm, so they hear our audio, and if there's any portion of that audio that they know is copyrighted material, they just flag the video.
Who's sitting around listening to this?
Computer program.
A person that runs a computer program.
I don't even think it's a person. I think it's completely auto-generated.
Okay.
I think it understands the wave patterns in the sound,
This is
and it matches it
incredible.
against their database.
This is scary.
It's technology.
It's like TikTok. You have to be careful on TikTok too, by the way.
Imposters out there.
A lot of them, like Johnny Depp people and Barbara Streisand people. There's a bunch of them. You have to be careful. So anyhow, that's great. Well, I love our hero, and I like our asshole of the week. What else do we have to talk about? Because we don't have that much time.
Well, yeah. Well, as I had mentioned as we got started, I have our whole page, my whole page of notes, plus 5 other shows worth that we didn't finish.
We got to talk about Ducey.
We're already an hour and 2, so we're past our 1 hour. But I did want to talk about. I think we should talk about Ducey, and then we can wrap up, and we'll save this stuff for another time because that's not timely. That can be discussed.
Should we really talk about Ducey? We have people that know Ducey.
Well, I think we should talk about that just because this happened yesterday.
Okay.
And once again, today is April 7th, 2021. Yesterday, Kate Gallego, mayor of Phoenix, on April 6th, did something that is definitely conflict worthy.
It is.
You are most definitely on one side of the fence or the other here, because I don't think you can be indifferent about wearing a mask. You either do it or you don't.
I'm going to email her and send her our letter and have her come on our show.
That would be fine. She probably wouldn't.
The mayor of Phoenix.
She might not be very nice to me, but we'll see what happens.
Why wouldn't she be nice to you?
Well, she endorsed my opponent when I ran last few months ago.
Remember.
No, she probably won't because I was so low on the ballot. She probably didn't even know who she was endorsing at the same time.
She wouldn't even remember that.
But anyway,
we have a good subject matter. So go ahead, talk
March
about it.
25th, 2 weeks ago,
Ann's birthday.
Governor Doug Ducey of the great state of Arizona removed the statewide mask mandate. Now, for those that are deep into this, that was supposedly a voluntary thing that Ducey did. It was voluntary in effect because he chose to remove it. What most people don't know is he was actually being sued to have that removed in a couple of lower courts, and he was going to lose. And so he voluntarily withdrew it before those suits got finalized, so he looked like the good guy. So anyway, March 25th, mandate removed. Everyone can go about their business as they see fit. Well, yesterday, Kate Gallego, in her esteemed capacity as mayor of Phoenix and no medical training whatsoever, but she decided that masks are important And therefore, in the city of Phoenix, now, and you mentioned Scottsdale earlier, maybe it was in the pre-show. I don't know what's going on in Scottsdale. And frankly, I don't even know where the border between Phoenix and Scottsdale is. It might be Scottsdale Road. I don't know. But anyway, the city of Phoenix, the mask mandate is... I saw that bug flying around before.
That bug likes me. I don't know what I...
Do you have like perfume or something
no,
on?
No, I don't. 'Cause
Something
I don't know if you're allergic to it.
No, I'm not that I'm aware of. But anyway...
Oh.
Here in Phoenix, the city of Phoenix, the mask mandate is back on. And it's been on since, I want to say, June or July of last year. And so we had 14 days of freedom. And then now Kate's decided to put it back up for whatever reasons that she's getting. And there's so much conflicting information out there on whether it is or isn't good or bad. But I thought that was an interesting topic because, once again, we're a mediation show. We've got two high-up government officials here in this state. The governor, who is basically number one, and then the mayor of Phoenix, who's high up within her district, butting heads on this issue. And so I thought that was an interesting topic because everyone has an opinion on this, whether they want to wear the mask or don't. And because it was so timely that it happened yesterday, I thought it was relevant to discuss it today.
I think it's an excellent subject matter. As a matter of fact, most of the restaurants and establishments around Phoenix, in this neighborhood especially, require you to wear a mask to walk into their business.
I believe Seasons 52 requires a mask.
Yeah, everyone. They all do. But you can take it off at the dinner table.
Correct.
Hillstones, they require a mask. Most of the restaurants do. They all do. But you can walk around the neighborhood without a mask, but then you have to put it on when you walk into the restaurant or into Fry's or into Safeway. So they're still requiring it. I think businesses can require it.
Well, and that was kind of the interesting that went on between March 25th and April 6th. That almost 2 week period where there was unclarity regarding the situation, if that's a word, because when Ducey removed the statewide mandate, he gave individual owner-operators of businesses the choice to continue to have those restrictions within their place of business if they chose to do so. And so, and I don't know if you saw this on TikTok, and I think one of them went viral yesterday, but there was some people at Trader Joe's. I don't know if you heard about this. There was a guy at Trader Joe's there's a guy at Trader Joe's who refused to wear the mask, and he was citing the fact that it's no longer statewide mandate, blah.
In Arizona.
And then the other customers at Trader Joe's, frankly, a bunch of Karens, were yelling at him that, well, Trader Joe's has elected to do this, blah, you need to wear it. It's a big confrontation on the video. I haven't watched it. I just saw a portion of it, and I was reading the article.
You were on TikTok?
No, this was just on the internet, on the news. When I was looking up for an asshole of the week, this article popped up because someone was calling this guy an asshole for not wearing his mask. So, but anyway, I thought that was rather interesting.
They call them mask holes.
Yeah, there you go.
But
I thought that was kind of an interesting topic because it's timely, it relates to what's going on, and the individual businesses are allowed to require masks. And so, customers now have the choice if they want to go to that place or not, based on the fact that, well, as of yesterday, if they chose to have a mask. Now it's required everywhere again. So I would imagine we'll see something similar in the future. Whenever good old Kate decides to pull that mandate down, I would guess that she's going to give the individual places of business the opportunity to keep that in effect until they see fit, just because it is a safety thing. And so if some people are comfortable doing it, more power to them.
Well, we can go on and on and on about this. However, there has been a new strain of the virus coming along, and a lot of people do not have been vaccinated. So I think a lot of it has to do with an awful lot of research, and this is controversial. It's a great subject matter. It'd be really good to get her on the show and have her talk.
I think it'd be great to have her on the show just because she is such a big name in the city of Phoenix, and I would be willing to bet that she has all types of conflicts she could discuss with us.
Oh, I'd love to have her
that
on.
They resolve behind closed doors.
Sure.
But just hearing about their processes might be a good thing for us to then turn around and relate to something. Because like I said, if you can take one thing, and we've been talking now for an hour and 9 minutes plus, if you've heard one thing on this show that you can take and use in your daily life, then it's been worth it.
Right.
Because you could watch an hour of TV and not get anything out of it. So if you're watching us for an hour and you learn something, we've
That's
done our
right.
job.
And you just have to keep watching us. And when are we doing another one, Michael? You're going camping this weekend.
Yes, so we're not going to be able to do it this weekend. I'm going to be
Next
up in northern
Monday.
Arizona. But yeah, if we can do a show Monday,
We'll be on a show Monday.
let me know.
And we'll let you know.
You're the scheduler.
I know. I haven't been doing a great job because my people aren't calling me back.
Well, and
That
I'll.
was a bad week.
Well,
It was a bad week.
and I actually have. I took
You
down
have a
the
couple.
liberty.
I have a couple.
I've got
We've
more
got
than a
base
couple.
pizza coming.
I've got 15 or so guests that all have a potential location we could shoot
We all
at,
do.
and
I
so
know.
yeah, no,
know.
I think
we
we'll
do too.
we're going to be
not
booked
gonna
up for a little
announce them
bit.
now because we're getting organized. So, anyhow, this has been great. Anything else you want to add?
Well, before I hit the button for our closing music and let you do our thing, I just want to say once again, let's put this back up for a temporary goodbye. But once again, if you're out here, give us a click, give us a like, give us a subscribe, put a comment down below. You know, whether you hate us, whether you like us, you know, let us know. We want some sort of
we need
feedback
some
out there.
feedback.
And so you're welcome to email us. I think our phone numbers are, well, I know our phone numbers are on the business card. They're in
Right.
the email signature. So, you know, if you're going to call someone, call Diann in the middle of the night to complain. Don't bother me with that
'Cause
type of
I'm
stuff. But otherwise, thank you for joining
And
us.
then I'll call him.
Come back again and, you know, keep taking that emotion out of the commotion. I won't steal your line. I'll let you go for it.
No, hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. And remember to take that emotion out of the commotion with mediation, not litigation or arbitration. Have a good week, everybody. Bye.
Bye now.